Hi, I'm Avni Doshi, the author of Girl in White Cotton, which is also known as Burnt Sugar internationally. I was born in the US and I grew up in New Jersey, and I moved to India in my 20s, and I was working in the art world there. And it was at that time that the beginnings of an idea for a novel came into my head. The very first scene of the novel I wrote was basically this moment between a mother and a daughter, and the larger story grew from there. And the novel is a lot about memory and the relationship between parents and children, and what happens when parents age, and how do we make sense of looking after our parents as though they're children, particularly when our parents have never really looked after us. So that's one of the major conundrums for the narrator of this novel. For me, it was a very long and difficult journey writing Girl in White Cotton. I started writing 7 years before the novel actually got published. I wrote many drafts, and each draft was very different than the one before. I found that through the process of writing all these drafts, I actually learned the craft of writing. Because I never took any writing classes, I never studied creative writing. My background was always in art history. So it was really informative to go back to the novel again and again and try and figure out what the problems were and how to solve them. And I had many ups and downs. I definitely thought many times that, I should just quit. Why am I doing this? I have no idea what I'm doing. So I would often put the novel in a drawer and forget about it for a couple of months before kind of gathering the courage to begin again. And I was absolutely elated on the day that I finally sold the novel, because it felt like it had been such a journey and such a long road. I would be lying if I said my mother's misery has never given me pleasure. I suffered at her hands as a child, and any pain she subsequently endured appeared to me to be a kind of redemption, a rebalancing of the universe, where the rational order of cause and effect aligned. But now I can't even the tally between us. The reason is simple: my mother is forgetting, and there is nothing I can do about it. There is no way to make her remember the things she has done in the past, no way to baste her in guilt. I used to bring up instances of her cruelty, casually, over tea, and watch her face curve into a frown. Now she mostly can't recall what I'm talking about. Her eyes are distant with perpetual cheer. Anyone witnessing this will touch my hand and whisper, "Enough now, she doesn't remember, poor thing." The sympathy she elicits in others gives rise to something acrid in me. I wanted to share this particular portion of the novel because it's right at the beginning, and so it's the first thing that the reader is really faced with. And I spent a lot of time thinking about the beginning of the novel, how to begin, particularly the first sentence. And, there's a whole kind of cult around the first sentence in novels. A lot of authors think that the first sentence is really important, and I think I would agree. I tried to find a sentence which, I can just repeat for you. The first sentence is, "I would be lying if I said my mother's misery has never given me pleasure." I not only wanted a first sentence that would really grab the reader's attention, but also something that would indicate the entire shape of the story that comes afterwards, and that would kind of contain a lot of the important themes forever. For example, the relationship not only between a mother and a daughter, but the narrator's relationship to the truth and lies, which these are kind of the central ideas that run through the story.